for Liverpool fans, maybe the biggest news your club has had now from a footballing standpoint in 2 to 3 decades, potentially. Your greatest ever Premier League manager will leave at the end of the season. What's your initial thoughts, feelings, emotions surrounding that?
First of all, big up to the Terrace audience, big up to you guys in the chat. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. And yeah, the straight facts was not a straight facts I expected to do today. I was expecting to get clipped up for talking about Man City again. This was first initial, emotion, first initial thought is 100% just a shock to the system. It was something that I did not expect. It was something that I did not think is going to happen. I did not sleep yesterday thinking tomorrow, like, oh yeah, let me make content about Jurgen Klopp, leaving at the end of the season, because it's something that's just come as an absolute shock to the system. It shocked us all as Liverpool fans. I think this is a big loss, not just for Liverpool Football Club. This is a big loss to the Premier League as well. As from a viewership perspective, from a Premier League competitive perspective, having the 2 best managers in the league, both in the same league, obviously helps. With all of that stuff. Now, if Pep extends and Jurgen Klopp leaves, it's going to be like, who really is going to be able to compete with him? I think now till the end of the season, all pressure is off Jurgen Klopp and all pressure is on these players. I said it on my live stream earlier, and I'm like, look, now all these players, they've got to deliver. And before we get into it, look, Jurgen Klopp is in modern era giving us the best times as Liverpool fans you could ever think of. So many great moments. The 4-0 comeback against Barcelona, beating our biggest rivals with the biggest ever scoreline. Winning the Champions League, winning the Premier League. So many iconic moments. Obviously, winning it all. No charges, none of that. Just winning it. Just the right way, 0 charges on his head top, won every single trophy there is to win, improved players to umpteenth degrees, players who got relegated, joining Liverpool Football Club and Jurgen Klopp, turning them into world-class, unbelievable players. Stuff like that is what Jurgen Klopp done for Liverpool Football Club, and I think it's going to be absolutely difficult to imagine a world with Liverpool Football Club without Jurgen Klopp, because this has been our world for the last almost 10 years. I mean, if he lives at the end of 2024, he joined in 14-15, so it's almost like 9 years, 10 years, 8 years, like around that period, because he joined mid-season. So yeah, this is a very sad news. I'm so happy I didn't turn on him last season. I'm so happy I never uttered the words Klopp out. I never wanted the guy gone. And for a reason like this, because I knew he was capable of turning it around like he's done this season. And not many people have given Jurgen Klopp for his work this season. This season alone, the fact that you rebuilt a whole midfield in one summer, sold 5 midfielders, bought 4 new midfielders in, built up the likes of Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott, brought in someone who was fighting relegation last season with Stuttgart and Endo, to be top of the league, to be in all 4 competitions is something that, only a manager like Jurgen Klopp can do. Buying C+, B+, B level players and turning them into A level players who are capable of winning stuff. So yeah, pressure now is on the players. This is a very sad day for football in general. And I backed, Jurgen Klopp all the way from the start. And I'm glad I did. And I never turned on the guy, because this guy has just given us everything ever since he became a Liverpool fan. Ever since he became a Liverpool manager, sorry.
I get your point. It's sad for football. I'm not gonna lie, I love it. I've watched his video, and it was really hard to watch. You could see the genuine pain and anguish within him and his love for your club. I think that's true, and it exists. I actually think it's a bad thing for the Premier League overall, losing one of the best managers in the world, especially as Jurgen Klopp has made the outright point today that he will never manage another English team. So he's not going to come back and be the City manager in 5 years' time, or come back and take over Newcastle, according to what he's just said now. But the Man United fan in me loves this. The same as every single Liverpool fan watching celebrated and maybe even had parties when Sir Alex Ferguson retired, as an example. The same as we are all going to celebrate the day Pep leaves. We are. It's just going to happen. The same as Lee Gunnar's going to celebrate when Arteta eventually gets sacked. Like everyone's going to celebrate for different reasons. So I do get it. But I understand the somberness. I know how Liverpool fans feel. I've been there. I think a different scenario with Sir Alex. I think it was a little more painful with Sir Alex because he's all I knew my whole life. I didn't know anything before him. And literally he was along with my big brother and my parents, the one true constant in my life was Sir Alex Ferguson, really, in terms of somebody that was just always there. Obviously not personally in my life, but we feel very personally connected to our football clubs at times. I wanted to ask you I've got quite a few questions to talk to you about when it comes to this. What of the timing? For instance, we had Jerry on the show earlier today, and his first words out of his mouth, basically, Jurgen Klopp is an idiot for announcing it in this way at this stage of the season. Are you at all concerned about the timing of this announcement and the impact this may have upon the rest of your season?
I actually look at it 180 degrees the other way. I think the timing of this announcement now galvanizes the squad for the rest of the season. And I'll unpack this now. I feel like this is the perfect time to actually say what I mean when it comes to the players. I don't give a fuck if Jurgen Klopp plays 2-3-5 formation from now to the end of the year. I don't care if he plays Alisson up top. I don't care if he plays Trent in goal. I'm not making a single excuse for any of these players. If you're a Liverpool player right now, Jurgen Klopp has got you to the position now, has built you up as a football player where you are one of the best players in your position in the world, where you're absolutely unbelievable, where people are watching you all over the world, where you play for Liverpool Football Club. Now you have to deliver as a player. Now Mo Salah must deliver, Trent must deliver, Van Dijk must deliver, Alisson must deliver. This works in the other way around. I don't think it works in the position where it's like, oh yeah, Klopp is gone, so let's all cry and stuff. Like, I think it's going to be the other way around from a player's perspective. I think now they need to give 115% of their energy on the football pitch. They need to just absolutely just destroy themselves on the football pitch every single game. And for these next 30 games or whatever, we absolutely need to cook on the football pitch. And look, this is something that just galvanizes the players now, because they know this is the last 3-4 months of Jurgen Klopp as Liverpool manager, and they need to send him out on a high. You know what I refuse to see is any player letting us down. And I said it earlier on. Look, I'm going to be extra harsh on every single player that does not perform from now to the end of the season, because this is crunch time. This is clutch time. We don't have no time for no BS. We don't have no time for no games. We don't have no time for no excuses. Jurgen Klopp has come in. Joe Gomez from Charlton for 3.5 million. Andy Robertson from Hull City. Trent was a midfielder in the academy. Virgil van Dijk was referred to as the Dutch Chris Smalling. There are so many players. They still mock Szoboszlai every week. Wataru Endo, even myself, I didn't believe in him, was signed from a relegated Stuttgart last season. Gravenberch was looked at as a problem by certain Bayern and Ajax accounts. Someone like McAllister, maybe was looked at as a bit overrated or whatever. People don't even give Salah the respect that he deserves right now. All these players under this manager now can have the energy of essentially, us against the world. The us against the world energy works for Liverpool Football Club, because us against the world was 18-19. Us against the world was 19-20. When it always feels like, and I know, this is a United fan as well, what I mean as well. It's also like a Scouse thing. Like, it's also like a thing where it's like, it's like everyone's against us. And he was saying it in his interview today. I watched the whole 24-minute interview, and I noticed he says, now people from the outside will be laughing. People from the outside will try to mock it. People from the outside will try to use this against us. So already Jurgen Klopp is pointing at it heading in a direction of us against the world situation. So that's why now, from now on to the end of the season, the players have to be held accountable. And he said it himself. He said the only one that can disturb us is us. We have to now perform on the football pitch. And if you're a football player, and if you're someone who plays for Jurgen Klopp right now, you need to look at that guy and go like, listen, he's leaving in 3 months. This is the greatest ever manager in modern era for Liverpool Football Club. I have to do everything I can to send this man out on a high, because this man is the same man that took me from an okay level to an unbelievable level. Obviously, with the players, of course, themselves working on all this, but they have a relationship with him, because so many of these players, he's the guy that brought them up,
I think the players have stepped up, though. And I know that sometimes correlation doesn't always equal causation. But I think about a couple of players. Endo's improvement. I think about the last 2 months, everyone's been speaking about the improvement in Jones. It's transpired today that it was November when Klopp informed the hierarchy of Liverpool and his players that he would be going. from November to now is where we've seen the very best Liverpool. So I do believe those players have stepped up. Now, running through that brick wall for Klopp, putting every ounce of energy they've got, doesn't guarantee trophies. I mean, you should win the Carabao Cup. You're much better than Chelsea. Doesn't guarantee you to win the league. But as you say, there is something extra for them to fight for. And although I understood Jerry's frustration, we have seen before the exit of Pellegrini and Pep coming in kind of damaged City's season. We obviously saw Man United the first time around that Sir Alex Ferguson announced his retirement in the early noughties. It really threw Man United's season off. So there are living examples of when this can go wrong. At the same time, when you look at the evidence so far, the players already know, the hierarchy know. There's no Liverpool person that's going to be in shock today and think, oh my God, he's turning his back on us. What of next season? I actually think if he was struggling this year and you announced who your new manager was going to be next year, that could have a problem, because some of the players might turn around and go, well, this guy barely plays me, he's leaving, a new guy's coming in. That can cause problems. But I think you guys are running through brick walls for him anyway. I actually see this. If my club, and we may face you in the FA Cup, but if my club was going toe to toe with you for a Premier League title, had you in the Carabao Cup final, or was going to play you in Europe, I would be genuinely worried. Tuesday night, I know you've got Norwich first in the FA Cup, but Wednesday night at Anfield under the lights when Chelsea come to town, the Anfield crowd and the players to boot are going to be absolutely ferocious out of their love and their passion and their absolute heartbreak, but heartbroken for all the right reasons with this announcement today. I would not want to be one of the next 2 or 3 teams to be going to Anfield to play against this team, because I think you're going to be absolutely blown off the park. But there is a motivation here. Because as much as I'm saying nice things about Klopp and everyone else,
spoiling the party is the motivation.
Everybody, this is part of being a rival. Everybody wants to spoil the party. No one wanted Fergie winning the last league title before he retired. Nobody wants Klopp to leave. No one that's not a Liverpool fan wants Klopp to leave with anything this year. Although I would rather you win the league than Man City because of the four-peat. But City might be even more motivated now. We can bury once and for all this Pep Klopp era argument by making Klopp leave while we do a four-peat as an example. So there's motivations in the other way. So it's going to be so interesting to see how the season goes from this point. As a relative outsider, I know I'm a Man United fan to my rivals, but we're not involved in the title race. As an outsider looking in, I'm very intrigued to see how this goes now.
Can I make a claim? I think the Liverpool City game at Anfield will be the most emotional game since United Arsenal in the early 2000s. Remember the Ruud van Nistelrooy game when Ruud missed the penalty at the end and Martin Keown and all that happened? I think it's going to be as heightened emotions as that, and possibly even worse, because of everything you just described. And with Jurgen Klopp, as you said, people will be coming in to try to ruin the party. And I'm so glad you mentioned the atmosphere, because obviously the insult is always, have you ever been to Anfield? I've been to Anfield more times than you and all this shit. But listen, I know if I went to Anfield, I'll be screaming my lungs out, because it's an opportunity that, so many of us wish we could have. And even Jurgen Klopp himself has spoken about the atmosphere of the season. Now, from the end of the year, as he said before the Arsenal game, if you cannot make an atmosphere, give your ticket to someone else, because you just need to, we have to make Anfield not just a fortress. We have to make Anfield something like the Bombonera, like the Boca Juniors stadium, You have to, anyone that comes into the Bombonera just feel like so intimidated, just shit themselves, so scared type thing. And that's exactly what I feel like we need to do. And with the players and spoiling the party. Look, Chelsea are a club that's infamous for spoiling the party. That's something like they love spoiling parties.
Yeah,
they've done it 100 times before. They're irritating, but we have to handle business. We have to stand on business, handle our business, do what's required. And look, Klopp said it, and you just said it yourself. Only Liverpool can let themselves down from now to the end of the season. Only us. We can fuck up our whole thing. When Jurgen Klopp first came in, he says we have to turn from doubters to believers. And now is a time where I feel like we have to just park everything to the side and just believe in this team and believe in this manager, and hopefully manifest an absolutely incredible season, an incredible end to the year. But for me, winning the Premier League now is a must. Winning the Premier League is key, because we have to send Jurgen Klopp out on a high. We cannot send Jurgen Klopp out, without winning the league this season.